All right. Hello, everybody. How is it going? I just came back from the gym and I wanted to explain how my week 3 day 1 went before the endorphin high runs out or before I come off of the endorphin high. So just as like a prelude to all of this, I don't really think I did a good job of making it clear in episode 1 of what the purpose of this whole thing is. So what I meant by what I mean to road to 700 is the road to 700 pound deadlift, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that this series is going to be all about my deadlift. No, I want to have a well-rounded total, and so I'm training to have a well-rounded total. I'm kind of just having faith that everything falls into place, like my squat and my bench fall into place as I train for that. Because it's not like I'm just specializing in the deadlift right now and training to get my deadlift as high as possible with no regards to my squat and bench. Nah, that's not what I'm doing. So yeah, hopefully that clears it up if any of you had that question after watching episode 1, because it wasn't really clear what 700 was, right? That's the plan. Anyway, so with that out of the way, let's get into week 3, day 1. It went freaking amazing, first of all. Squats are continuing to trend in a very, very, very nice direction. Every session I come in, it's an undershoot pretty much for the week, which is good in terms of building momentum. So today I hit a pause squat 275 for 5 at 7.5. I like to overestimate my RPEs because overestimating them is better than underestimating them and then building up too much fatigue throughout the mesocycle, right? And then basically your whole macro cycle is fucked up if you if you build up too much fatigue in one block or phase. I'm gonna use the terms block and phase interchangeably, by the way, but yeah, 275 for 5 moved extremely well, as you can see. Honestly, it looks a little bit unstable on the video, but it didn't feel that way. I could feel it, like I did notice it while doing my set, but it wasn't anything like. First of all, it didn't cause any pain, which is the number one most important, and then number two, like it wasn't anything groundbreaking or it wasn't a deal breaker or anything like that, right? So that's good. One thing to note is after my second back off, so my last back off set, I got a little bit of a headache, exertion headache. I don't know if that was just from dehydration or exertion, but maybe I just need to be healthier. Anyway, yeah. The last thing to say about squats too is that on the video for the top set, it does look like I'm not really hitting depth, or it does look like I'm just going to parallel. But that's just because I filmed from the floor. I haven't got myself like a tripod yet, nor do I want to. I don't really want to set up a huge tripod and it get in everyone's way, because the way the commercial gyms are set up here in Canada is pretty cramped. So yeah, I just kind of use my water bottle, prop it down, and put my phone in a place that's going to be in the in a place that's going to be the least in the way as possible, if that makes sense, least in people's way as possible. So yeah, I put it on the floor, but then I put it on top of a machine for my back off sets. So you can see in my back off sets, my depth is a lot more convincing, like I sink it from that angle. But I think that angle is too high, so you know unless I get a tripod, I won't actually be able to like get the right angle, but I'm pretty sure I'm hitting depth. Like I sink my squats. So yeah, I mean, if I'm able to make it look borderline from filming from the floor, it's there's no question I sank the squats. So now we could talk about bench. Bench bench went well. Um, they feel really strong, but I wasn't able to go past 175 this week. The range was supposed to be 185 to 175, so I still stayed in the pocket technically, but the lower end of my range today, and that's just because the bench. I don't want to make excuses, but this is objective fact. Okay, if you guys benched on that bench, you would have seen what I meant. But the bench was really wobbly. I think they need to like tighten some bolts or something onto it, On top of it already being a commercial gym bench, which like isn't ideal. Um, and the floor was really slippery too, which I should have compensated by setting up with my feet further back, which I'll get more to that later. But I should have compensated for that, but I didn't. So that's partially my fault. But even though all of these things were happening, I'm still really happy. And even though I only hit the lower end of my range today, I'm still really happy with how they went. Because despite all of those things, like pretty much going wrong per se, um, I destroyed bench. Like it felt really light. It did still feel like the lower end of the range, right? So I ended up hitting this at an 8, but again, I tend to overestimate my RPEs. So honestly, like still pocket for the week. Like bench, it's we're still tracking in the right direction. I didn't hit what I wanted to hit for today, but I know why. That's the most important part. And even though all of the, like again, even though all of these things were happening, bench felt strong, like super strong, especially in the back offs. Because in the back offs is when I figured out my foot placement. Um, Essentially, I think when uh, benching on commercial gym benches, I should set my feet up a little bit further back, just so there's less chance of them like slipping, and point my toes out a little bit more. That felt super locked in, and I had a much easier time just maintaining constant leg drive, which is what you want with leg drive. You don't want to like have a burst of leg drive, if that makes sense, coming off of your chest. You want it to be consistent so that um, so that you can keep that chest up, like that chest up cue. I'm really excited to see what I can hit for next week because bench is feeling freaking amazing. Bench is feeling solid. Solid. And now that I know how to set up my feet properly, it's going to be even better for next week. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's pretty much it. That's it for day one. Super excited to see what I hit on the final week. The final week is going to be week 4 of phase 1, um, which I'm excited for the numbers. Even though like it is just a rebuilding phase, like I'm excited for the numbers that I'm gonna hit or plan to hit at least for week 4. So stay tuned for that. That's gonna be sick. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna. I didn't prepare any food because I'm kind of a numpty. This always happens, so I always have to. It's too late to cook now. It's like 11:05. Yeah, I really gotta manage my time better. But anyway, it's like 11:05, and I got Popeyes. Just the tenders. I'm gonna eat this with like my rice, so that it's at least has some semblance of being healthy. But yeah, that's pretty much that. All right, I'm rambling at this point. But yeah, I'm gonna down this and then probably go to sleep.
All right, guys, I gotta be quiet because it's really late. Um, but I couldn't wait till tomorrow to talk about today's training session. I just couldn't. I'm sorry. Like it was crazy. I came in not expecting anything out of the out of the freaking the session. Right? I expected to feel like dog shit, and I did feel like dog shit coming in because like um I had no sleep, pretty much no sleep, well, like very little sleep. I had like 4 hours or 3 hours of sleep last night because it's midterm week. I'll get to that. I'll get more into that later. But yeah, it's midterm week. So no sleep, and I've also haven't been eating. Like for the past 2 days, haven't gotten my calories in, or maybe it was just yesterday, but it's felt like a week, honestly, that I haven't been getting my calories in. But despite that, deadlifts moved at a lower RPE than last week, and it was a heavier weight. I think it was. I don't know what I hit last week. Let me check. My notebook's wet right now. Actually, I'll check. I can't check, but I think it was 10 pounds heavier than last week, and it moved at a lower RPE. So that's why I'm so excited to talk about today's training session, because what the frick? It was supposed to be bad, but it was really good. Like variable I felt so good. And even like it was up until warm-ups. It was up until like even up until warm-ups, till my last warm-up. Deadlifts were feeling like crap. Like I felt like I couldn't get my brace right. I felt like my back wasn't tight at all. And then all of a sudden, for the top set, everything just clicked. And I was like, what? It moved. I swear it moved at a 6 or sub 6. It could have even been sub 6. And I paused the last rep for so long because I was really feeling myself at that point. I was like, shit. Is this really 375? Like, is this really the weight I'm supposed to hit for this week, or did I load it wrong? I checked, by the way, I loaded it correctly. So, if this momentum keeps, like, if that keeps up to next week, we have built ourselves a very solid foundation for the rest of the macro cycle. If this keeps up, you know, and if my squats next week go well too. And if my bench goes well, I mean, that's a little bit of an ask. I know I'm still an intermediate lifter, so it's still kind of a possibility that all three could be going wrong in a macro cycle, right? But, and I am bulking, and I am, like, loading my body with creatine for the first time, so hey, maybe it'll happen, but it's a bit of an ask to ask all three to move well, but I'm asking. I mean, it's kind of stupid. I know I'm gonna regret saying this in the morning. I'm kind of just high off of endorphins right now, and they're really hitting hard. Like, you can tell. I'm like, if I was allowed to be loud right now, I would be screaming, you know? Like, anyway, point is, today's training session was freaking insane, and I am so excited to see what I can hit. I mean, I know what I'm gonna hit for next week. I'm following Rondell Hunt's Agua method, right? So I've already have my training planned out for next week, but I'm so excited to see how it feels. Because if I can make that shit feel easy, oh boy, then I've built myself a very nice foundation with this paused work. I think I'm doing paused work in the next block too. So still technically building the foundation for next block, but for deadlifts it'll be doubles, and then for squats it'll be triples, I believe. So we'll see. I know I'm getting ahead of myself again, and I always do this when I have good training sessions, and it always bites me in the ass later. But yeah, no buts. So I'm just gonna calm down. I'm just gonna calm down, live in the present, finish my secondary and tertiary days for bench and squat, and have that be that. I gotta live in the present. I can't let this get to me too much because, you know, sooner or later a bad training day will come, or a worse training day, you know. So, yeah, I'm really hyped. That's the point. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed episode 2 of the Road to 700 series. We're chugging on. I'm gonna keep pumping out these videos weekly because I'm enjoying it. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm going to keep continuing to do it until I stop enjoying it. So, yeah, you guys can come along for the ride. The 3 of you who watch these videos, but yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode, which will drop next week after I finish my primary days for next week. That's it. That's all I gotta say. Alright, bye-bye.